hold on. I'm going to compliment him right now. I'm going to compliment him right now. Herb, I'm going to compliment him right now. Stay on the line.
Brian, listen, you kind of answered your own question when you said why they don't go on Mark Levin. Remember how you were upset by the fact that Kamala Harris wouldn't go on any of the conservative talk shows or anything like that? Same way with Biden. Biden wouldn't go on any conservative or on Fox News or Newsmax. He wouldn't go on there. He never did. Even every year, the years that they would alternate when they had the Super Bowl, the president normally gave an interview, a 30-minute interview to the station that had the Super Bowl. And Biden didn't do that.
Okay, so if you listen to the show, you would understand and you would already know that I've criticized Kamala Harris and her campaign for being very too careful with her.
That's right.
As far as Joe Biden goes, yeah, I think he should have done more interviews, absolutely. But
I agree.
But it goes both ways.
When you said
but it goes both ways. It goes both ways.
But Brian, what I'm saying is you were right when you said that, and while you were doing the campaign, when you kept saying that, I agreed with you. However, that's the problem with Mark Levin. Liberals are not going to go on that station because he's got his facts together. He knows the Constitution.
He does not. Okay, let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. You just said, hold on. Okay, hold on. Herb, let's go with what you just said. Okay. You just said Mark Levin has, quote, his facts together. Mark Levin is the guy that consistently still says that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. Mark Levin is the guy who has lied about Joe Biden and his alleged criminal activity. He lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. Mark Levin spreads lies and propaganda every single day. So when you say Mark Levin knows the Constitution, first of all, Mark Levin has never, ever criticized Donald Trump for anything. He coddles Donald Trump. He coddles the far right. And let me tell you something. Many of people that are in office today, Democrats, some of whom that I know personally, would gladly go on Mark Levin's show. Mark Levin and his stupid producer, who I've talked to before, by the way, they call him Mr. Producer. They are morons and they are cowards. I completely disagree. Hold on a second. You're the one who's giving credibility to Mark Levin. I don't care how much you claim or he claims he knows the Constitution. What good does it do when he goes on the air, talks about the same topics every day, fails to criticize anybody? On one show today, I've criticized more people on the left than Mark Levin has criticized on the right in his entire radio career. So for you to try to give somebody credibility who is a right-wing biased buffoon who will only criticize people who go after Donald Trump, he'll only, and by the way, you want to call him a constitutionalist? Why doesn't he ever criticize Donald Trump talking about the enemy within? Why doesn't he ever criticize Donald Trump for January 6th? Why doesn't he?
Well, Brian, you gonna let me talk, or are you gonna?
You're the one. I want you not just to talk. I want you to respond to my criticisms of Mark Levin and try to defend them.
Okay, I'll respond to him. You never compliment Trump. Does that mean that you're all messed up too?
We're not talking.
Never compliment Trump.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We're not talking.
No, wait a minute.
You're wrong. You're wrong. No, you're wrong.
There you go, Brian.
You're wrong.
You don't want anybody to...
Herb, I need you to listen to me. I'm not talking about who you compliment. I'm talking about who you criticize. I've criticized Kamala Harris. You just admitted that in this conversation. I've criticized Joe Biden. I'm not talking about who you give a nice pat on the head and compliment. We're talking about criticism, because you really can learn something about somebody when they're willing to criticize somebody that they might like. So, Herb, when has Mark Levin criticized Donald Trump? Go ahead. As we pod you back up, go ahead.
Brian, you asked me that question before, and I told you before, I can't bring up something where he's criticized Donald Trump.
Because he hasn't.
That doesn't mean I've never heard you compliment Trump.
Do you not understand? Do you not understand?
What does that mean?
First of all, I have, because I complimented.
You know something else?
Hold on, I'm going to compliment him right now. I'm going to compliment him right now. Herb, I'm going to compliment him right now. Stay on the line. I compliment and I give a lot of credit to Donald Trump for turning people like you into brainwashed fools. I compliment Donald Trump for exposing how stupid people are in this country. I compliment Donald Trump for brainwashing people into believing that he won the 2020 election, people like you. But you see, Herb, you're off kilter. You were giving Mark Levin credibility, which he has none. And you couldn't name me one situation where he's ever criticized Donald Trump for anything. And you're trying to give somebody like that credibility. And what I said, Herb, and I will repeat again, I've criticized Democrats more today than Mark Levin will criticize Republicans in his 30-year radio career. We're not talking about praising people. Is there anybody out there that is still listening to Mark Levin? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. Mark Levin might be one of the most pathetic and disgusting right-wing talk shows, and there's plenty of them, by the way. Sean Hannity, Clay Travis. There's plenty of idiots on the right that do radio shows. There's some in this town, too, that have like 5 listeners. I won't mention their names because it's not worth it. But Mark Levin, at one time, was obsessed with the Epstein files. Mark Levin, at one time, did entire shows about Jeffrey Epstein and all the Democrats are in the Epstein files. Let me be very clear about Mark Levin. Benjamin Netanyahu today could bomb the United States, and I believe Mark Levin would still defend the Israeli government. Mark Levin is a complete imbecile, and he has absolutely no credibility at all. He's an idiot. Are you a liberal? Sounds like a chipmunk. Are you a liberal? I'm a constitutionalist. Are you a liberal? Today we're going to interview Don Jr. It's going to be a revelation. It's going to be, what an interview. See, I only interview people that agree with me, that have zero credibility. Hi, I'm Mark Levin. Please watch my Fox News show on Sunday night. I promise you, I look as bad as I sound. I'm Mark Levin. I'm a constitutionalist. Is there anybody that still listens to this idiot? And Mark Levin is now saying that everybody out there that brings up the Epstein files is obsessed. But he's also saying that it's a distraction because what we really should be talking about is the Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Obamagate stuff. Folks, I am not making this up. Have a listen.
And for those of you who are obsessed with the Epstein case, you are the ones who are distracting us from the Obama-Hillary case. I don't know what your end game is with the Epstein case, but I know what my end game is here. That is justice. And that is a course correction for our country.
Mark Levin doesn't want you talking about the Epstein files. He wants you talking about Obamagate. Now let's keep in mind and review what Donald Trump has done in the last 6 months, the damage he has done to this country and some of the scandals. I mean, we could mention Signalgate, where nobody was held accountable to that. Who knows if Pete Hegseth will stay in his position for the next 3.5 years. His name is clearly all over the Epstein files, we've learned. He is literally stripping millions of people from their health care coverage that they absolutely and desperately need. And he's also taken bribes from his crypto brothers. Billions of dollars his family is making from this crypto Ponzi scheme, as I would like to call it. He's gutted food and water safety. He's literally built concentration camps, Alligator Alcatraz, for example. ICE is literally kidnapping people. That is what they are doing. Make no mistake about it. And he's deployed the military domestically. The war in Ukraine is still going on. He said it would be over in 24 hours. It's worse off now than it was on day one. He's coddled Vladimir Putin. He got us involved in a war between Iran and Israel. And the jobs report that came out was abysmal, the worst in 5 years. But Mark Levin doesn't want you talking about any of that stuff. What does Mark Levin want you talking about? Obamagate. Lock Hillary Clinton up. That's how much credibility Mark Levin has. He's never had any. Mark Levin. Do you guys know who Mark Levin is? Right-wing talk show host. Disgusting inside and out. So Mark Levin, somebody who calls himself a constitutionalist. Are you a liberal? That's Mark Levin. Are you a liberal? I mean, he sounds like a chipmunk. He's a talentless buffoon who wears the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7. I don't even know how he has any listeners. I really don't understand it. I think he's talentless. And, you know, he doesn't interview anybody on the other side. He coddles to people. He coddles to Donald Trump. And listen to the way Mark Levin has decided to spin what exactly is going on in this country when it comes to these tariffs and all these people that are struggling and the American consumer. Somehow Mark Levin, who I don't think is a very intelligent person, everyone's like, oh, well, he's a constitutionalist. Oh, really? He is? What did he have to say about January 6th? What did he think about that? What did he have to say about Donald Trump breaking the law and just pushing aside our Constitution? You see, Mark Levin won't talk about stuff like that, but he'll talk about Hunter Biden's laptop because he's a right-wing hack and a turd. Yes, I said it. Mark Levin is a piece of turd. That's what he is. And this is how Mark Levin put into words the spinning and the ass kissing that and the brown nosing that some of these people do. Listen to the way Mark Levin, the despicable turd on the far right, described into words what the country is going through right now with these tariffs. It's really mesmerizing what this right-wing fool in his right-wing echo chamber radio show had to say about this. Have a listen.
He is doing something that's never been done. And it's actually quite exciting and invigorating. Will there be a period of difficulty? I suspect there is. But a lot of that is the layover from the Biden regime, which spend like a bunch of drunken Marxists.
Drunken Marxists. Okay, so let me get this straight. The constitutionalist, and some of you idiots out there that listen to this guy, I would imagine some of you do, he's blaming Joe Biden and his Marxist policies. Notice how they never get specific and name a policy, by the way. It's just like when they call people pedophiles, they call them Marxist, libtards. They never get specific on why, right? When I call Donald Trump a liable sexual abuser, I'm looking at the actual E. Jean Carroll case or the 25 women that have come forward that have claimed that he raped or sexually abused them, including his ex-wife in court documents, right? When I call him a liar, I could just go by some of the things he said over the weekend or the fact he has still yet to concede the 2020 election, right? When I call somebody a name, I usually have reason for it. But Mark Levin, the constitutionalist. Oh, I'm so smart. Are you a liberal? The constitutionalist. Joe Biden's Marxist policies. Okay, name one, Mark. You frickin' moron, you. Name one. You 4-foot-tall fool. Name one. He's blaming Joe Biden for the stock market plunging. He's blaming Joe Biden for the Dow down 2,100 points the other day. He's blaming Joe Biden for all these government workers for no reason at all losing their jobs. He's blaming Joe Biden for all those auto dealerships that have shut down, that have closed temporarily. He's blaming Joe Biden. How could anybody listen to these people? And listen, to be fair, Mark Levin is not the only one. Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, Jesse Waters, the usual idiots, right, with zero credibility, are literally trying to blame Joe Biden. Well, guess what? That ain't going to work anymore because Joe Biden's not president. He didn't implement these 25% tariffs. You guys own it. You are the ones that voted for Donald Trump. And I'm not just talking to Republicans that are in office. They own it as well because they've allowed him to do this. I am talking to all of you who voted for Donald Trump. You own this. This is on you. I don't want to hear you cry. I don't want to hear you complain. We are all suffering because of all you idiots that decided to vote for the orange orangutan. This is on you. This is your fault. You did this. This is the America that you wanted. Or if you didn't want it and you didn't think Donald Trump was going to do this, then shame on you. You are ill-informed. And you did not do your research. Donald Trump said he was going to do these things. It's all in Project 2025. He's just implementing them one by one. He said he was going to do all these things. And he doesn't care about tariffs and how it could face American people and all these people losing their jobs and losing their livelihood. You voted for this. This is on you. Sadly, people like me are going to suffer for it because of you imbeciles out there that still to this day, so many of you won't admit that you made a mistake with your vote. Let me be very clear. This would not have happened under Kamala Harris. A lot would not have happened under Kamala Harris. This certainly would not have happened. She wouldn't have imposed 25% tariffs. The stock market wouldn't be going crazy right now. And, the Dow wouldn't have been down 2,000 points. People wouldn't have been losing their jobs all over the country. This would not have happened under Kamala Harris. You did this, Trump supporters. Own it now. And don't blame Joe Biden because this is all on Donald Trump.